Hey everyone! So I was thinking that today could be a little bit different. So not necessarily doing like a vlog or tutorial, but actually showing you a little bit of my past work and kind of doing like a sketchbook tour. I feel like it could be kind of fun to just kind of look back on my previous work and share with you what I used to draw like, and I don't know, kind of like reflect on how I've kind of grown in the past 10 years or so. So just to give a little bit of background of my education and my experience, I actually have a degree in media arts and animation. So I actually studied animation in school. So my original plan was to go into like film and animation and like, you know, the dream of working for like Disney and Pixar and stuff. My career didn't go in that direction. I actually ended up working in games right after school and kind of have been working in games since. I don't really talk about what I do for work in my day-to-day, but that's what I do. But when I was in school, I studied all kinds of things. I studied everything from pre-production of like illustration and concept art and storyboarding to like actual animation. So like 3D modeling and texturing and lighting and doing like flash animations. I did 2D hand-drawn animations. Had a lot of experience with Maya and character modeling. My education also covered things like compositing and effects, and like it kind of just like did the whole range. And I thought it'd be kind of interesting just to kind of talk about that and reflect on that, and you know, just give a little bit of background of how I got to where I am now, and then take a look at some of the sketchbooks that I had then as well. Because I feel like it'd be really fun just to see where I was before, and I haven't actually gone through all the pages yet. I don't know exactly what's in all my sketchbooks. There might be things I cut out, I don't know yet. And then towards the end of this video, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about art style, because I get a lot of questions about like, how do you find your art style? What is my art style? Like, how do you get there? And I remember when I was younger, God, I feel so old now, but I remember when I was younger, this was always a topic of discussion for me too. So I kind of want to then just like wrap up with talking about art style towards the end. But I think we'll go ahead and start with just looking at the sketchbooks and stuff like that, showing you a bit of my past work, because I don't know, it's kind of fun to walk down memory lane. Oh my gosh, I'm worried that there's something weird in the sketchbooks. Like, I don't think there is, but you never know, right? But yeah, let's take a look at some of the sketchbooks. I have a whole bunch of them, so I'm gonna try to like show you the fun bits, and I don't know if there's anything weird, we'll look at that too, but yeah. So yeah, okay, cool. Let's go take a look at the sketchbooks. So when I was in college, I actually used to draw so much that I ended up starting to just make my sketchbooks by hand, because what ended up happening is like I would fill up a sketchbook and then I would have to buy another one, and as a poor college student, it cost a lot of money. So what I actually did is I just took like regular copy paper and then punched holes in it and used these rings to bind them together. This one here, I think I actually had like a binding machine to use from I don't know, like an office space. So this one looks a little bit less shoddy, but as you can see, it doesn't even have a cover. But I guess a note for anybody who's trying to save money in college: make your own sketchbooks, because you know, they're just for sketching and scribbling and practicing anyway. We'll start with this one, I guess. I'm a little bit afraid to show what's in here because I think there's some weird stuff. One of my final projects in school was to do this animation with a bunch of other classmates, and it was about these two kids, and I can't even remember what their names were, but it had like a little boy and a little girl, so had to do a lot of character design for that. What's the best way to show this? This keeps changing. There was also a dog character, I believe, and also a dragon in it. So I think a lot of the drawings in here are going to be concept art for that. So then for also in those final projects, I guess the sketchbook is from one of the final classes I had in animation school, because these are actually some really early logo designs for like my business card and stuff. And as you can see, like, I don't really fill up whole pages. I just kind of scribble a little bit and then keep going. Not very environmentally friendly here. But even then, I had a bird character. And like, I just checked, and the sketchbook is from 2010 and 2011, so we were thinking way back. Some more dragon sketches, practicing what the silhouette is going to look like and stuff like that. So yeah, these were all for that class project. more dog sketches. Drawing some people. I'm not really sure if this was for a project. I think it was just for like practice, but like checking, I don't know, practicing character shapes and stuff like that, character anatomy. In school, you do a lot of anatomy drawing, and I think that's what I was trying to do here, is just like practice my anatomy. More anatomy drawing, more characters, more dogs. There's a lot of dogs apparently then. Oh my gosh, I really like this dog character actually. Maybe I'll bring him back. More dog characters. Sometimes I feel like I don't know, I feel like I used to be better than I am now. As I don't really draw that much, or like do that much exploration with characters. I'm not sure what these are. There's a lot of stuff in here that's like kind of random to me. So when I was in school, I was also doing this project where I was trying to draw a character every single day, or like draw just some type of doodle every single day. So I actually did a lot of drawing doing that project. I think this is for one of those daily drawings I was doing. And at the time I was really inspired by, I think her name is Piper, I can't remember. I'm gonna put it on the screen. But she was doing a drawing every single day, and I think up until just recently she just stopped. And she had been doing that for a decade. But these drawings were for that project. So actually, this looks like it was the very first one for that. So 001 and 002, 003. I'm realizing now that there are so many sketches in here that I couldn't possibly go through every single page. So I'm probably going to skip around a little bit to show you the highlights. Generally speaking, the one common theme of all of my artwork is drawing animals. If I was ever given a choice to draw an animal or to draw a person, it would always be to draw an animal. Ooh, actually, this is one of my favorite pages. I do remember this page. It was kind of just studying parrot shapes and just trying to do like really simple line art. And I would recommend anybody who's trying to just like practice their line work or just study very simple like anatomy and shapes and stuff like that, to do this, to take a pen and just kind of sketch out just the edges. I think it's a really good exercise, and I think I should start doing this again. So as you can see, all these sketches are pretty scribbly and fast. The goal wasn't to make a beautiful piece of artwork every single day. The goal was just to sketch every single day. So a lot of weird sketches. Like I'm not really sure what these are. This guy's kind of cool actually. Is he drinking alcohol? No, it can't be. He's drinking something. I'm not sure. And this one's foreign. This is like a weird page. Yeah. Oh, this is kind of a cool drawing I did. Oh, I remember this one. I feel like this must have been a study of another drawing. I'm actually not sure. I can't remember now. So I had this running character, which was like this orange bird actually, that I wanted to make like as a 3D character eventually, which I don't think I ever got around to, but it's kind of just funny thinking that even back then I had this like little bird character. Apparently I really liked drawing girls with these big eyes, which is funny because I don't draw eyes like that anymore at all. I think at the time I was really inspired by the artist Chris Sanders. And he did these like very beautiful pinup girls with these like big eyes and big lips and stuff, and I really wanted to draw like that, but I was never good at it. I think these were my attempts to try to get better at drawing people. I was also drawing Bosley at that time. Oh, I don't remember drawing this at all, but this is kind of a fun one. I think they're opossums, maybe? Actually, I do really like these three. I actually recently redrew these three characters. If I can find it, I'll put it here. But I do like that even my old sketches, I've been able to like recreate into new artwork. This page, I didn't even like, I just drew one thing here and a circle and then I kept going. I'm not Like, why? Why did I do that? It's interesting to look at how much drawing I used to do then compared to now. I hardly do any kind of like experimental drawing like this anymore. Potty training for dummies. I used to draw Bosley a lot, and he used to be so chubs. I was in total denial at the time of how big he was, but he would take up this much of my desk. I really, really miss him. He used to always like lie here and just hang out with me when I was working on stuff, and yeah. School and spring break. This is kind of a funny drawing actually. I have no idea where I got the ideas for drawing these things. But in school I was surrounded by a lot of creative people, so I guess I do think I was just more creative at that time. Oh, you know what? I think I was actually sick when I drew this. Actually, this drawing I still really like. I feel like this is something I should bring back and maybe paint because I really love the movement in this one. And I made it like 10 years ago, so it'd be really cool to redraw this again. But I think that's the last page in this one. That was actually a lot of stuff. I don't know if I will do all of the sketchbooks, so I think it's going to take a long time to go through them. I think I can just like quickly flip through this one. Yeah, this one's not that interesting. That's fine. The coolest page in this sketchbook is this one. Was that really cool? Like, I don't know. Hyena. I think in my mind I was thinking it would be like black with like blue flames or something. Still sounds really cool, even when I'm thinking about it now. And this, flipping through here, this was for another project. So maybe we'll go through this one another time. I thought it'd be kind of fun to like show this actually. This is like one of the projects I was quite proud of. We had to study basically the human anatomy, and this class was actually really, really good for me. I felt like I learned so much. We just had to do like lots of studies of like bodies and stuff like that. I remember the teacher, his name was Zoo, and he made us draw everything in pen, which was really, really hard for someone like me at the time who was very used to just drawing with like pencils and having the ability to erase. But he really wanted us to learn how to make very purposeful strokes when we were drawing. So less just like scribbling and more just thinking about what we were actually drawing and why. And I think for me it was a really, really good, way to learn, because I was definitely a person who would scribble a lot. Not being able to erase or like, undo really makes you a better artist, I think, because then you start thinking about like how you actually draw things. So I think drawing with pen, so we used like I think it was just like maybe a Copic black pen or something like that, and then putting shadows in with a gray Copic marker, I think, or Prisma marker to define the shapes and stuff like that. But I do really remember this class. It was, I think, one of the best classes I had in school. The best part of this class, though, was being able to study like animal anatomy. So I do feel like even then I was much better at drawing animals than drawing people. Even though probably 90% of the class was drawing people and not animals, I still felt just a lot more comfortable drawing animals. And all of these drawings in here are from reference photos. I didn't draw them from scratch. So the final project for this was to draw a made-up animal, and I made this Sabino, I guess? Just like this like giant, blobby, kind of Komodo dragon-like animal. I don't know why I did this. It kind of just looks like a blob. I feel like I could have done something more interesting, but this is what I came up with. And that's it. This book was actually from a final project that I did. We had to basically make like a portfolio book. So the reason that we made like a physical book was because my teacher at the time was kind of old school and was like, you're gonna have to have a physical book that you can actually send to people. And I can safely say like I've never actually had to send a physical version of my portfolio to anybody. But it's nice to be able to look back on this and like see what I did. So I'm gonna go ahead and just show you some of the pages from this. So I made this koi fish drawing, I think actually using Illustrator. So it's funny because I used to really hate using Adobe Illustrator, but there was a class where I was forced to use it, and then I have loved it ever since. It's a really powerful program if you can figure out how to use it. But this one was made in Illustrator. These two pieces actually were painted. I think they were acrylic on just like paper. And it's kind of cool because like I hadn't done much traditional artwork at the time. But I do remember really enjoying making these two pieces. This was done in Photoshop. So I think this was a sketch from my like daily drawings project, and then I made like a digital version of it. So these three drawings were inspired by one of my favorite artists at the time, and still one of my favorite artists today, named Pascal Campion. And I was really inspired by the way he used light and color to tell stories, and I really wanted to try that here. So that's what I was trying to do. Most of my drawings at the time used a lot of like line art and stuff, so I really wanted to try to keep things more loose and try to experiment with that. This one is actually from that daily drawing project as well, so I ended up making a version of it in Photoshop. I think a lot of the drawings I was trying to make at that time, I was trying to tell a story with them. So like as an animation major, the idea was like to always make images with some kind of like story or character or personality. I guess this is the Grumpy Animals page. I actually really like how small this horse's legs are. So these were for that project I mentioned like at the start of this. So kind of experimenting with expressions for this little character. This is from a really loved project I worked on. It was basically to kind of create a story and like movie poster and stuff like that. And the story that I chose was the Chinese zodiac story, so how the Chinese zodiac calendar came to be and how the animals were chosen on it. And so this is a concept art piece from that. And up here are the silhouettes of the other characters. This was a portrait of Miss Audrey Hepburn, and this was actually done in Illustrator. This was a concept art piece for a project that we worked on. It was a little animation called Bear, and it was about a bear who wanted to fly. It's a person in a chicken suit riding a dinosaur. I don't think I have much more to say than that. And this one is just an Illustrator piece I made, I think. And it's actually the last page. So as you can see, I drew a lot of animals. It's mainly animals. I didn't really draw that many people because I didn't really like drawing people. So I mainly put animals in here. But I think that kind of shows what my artwork looked like when I was coming out of college. It's kind of funny to reflect back on this stuff. I feel like I used to be like a lot more creative. Like I was surrounded by so many creative people. I think it was easier to be creative. These days I'm just kind of like home by myself. But yeah, that's my artwork from college. So those were my sketchbooks. I hope you liked looking at them and kind of taking a trip down memory lane with me. I honestly don't even remember half of those sketches. Like, it's really interesting to see how much I've grown from then to now, how much I haven't changed also, because then I also really liked drawing animals, and it's kind of been a running theme for me for the past like 10 years. And I kind of wanted to actually just talk a little bit about art style, just because I know a lot of people are trying to find their art style. I get a lot of questions about how do you find your art style? What is my art style? Like, how do you know what it is? The way that I always imagine art style is the way that you naturally draw and the thing that you enjoy drawing. And I think that's really important, is the thing that you enjoy drawing. If I asked you to create something for me, if I asked you to draw something, the type of medium you use, the type of like thing that you draw kind of is your art style. Is the first thing that you're going to draw a person or flowers, or is it an animal? Are you going to be doing it digitally or with watercolors or maybe even crafting? I think those are the kinds of things that really create your art style. It isn't a one particular thing. It could even just be like your color palette. You always use the same color palette, right? I think up until a few years ago, I was still trying to figure out what my art style was actually. And as somebody who's been working as a professional artist for so long, and to only have figured it out a few years ago was kind of like mind-blowing to me. But I feel like once I finally figured out that my art style was what I enjoyed drawing and just naturally drew, it made drawing just that much more enjoyable, because I wasn't trying to copy other people or emulate other people or struggle through trying to draw people when I wasn't good at it. I didn't like drawing people. I don't like drawing people. I was forced to do it a lot through college. And I think only up until recently have I kind of started to enjoy it more, because I have found an art style that I like drawing people in. It wasn't the norm that I was being forced to draw in college. So I really do think a lot of it just comes down to how you naturally draw and the process of enjoying it as well. And it isn't to say that you have to have an art style either. I think having lots of art styles and doing lots of different things is really, really good and important to grow. And as anyone who wants to be like a freelancer or work in a studio, having versatility is really, really good. But that being said, it's going to take time to find that art style. It's going to take you time to figure out what you like drawing, what you like making, and the process of how you make it is all a part of like the journey of like experimenting with different mediums. Like, do you like acrylic paint? Do you like crafting with polymer clay? Do you like ceramics? It's going to take time to figure out how to enjoy the art process, but I feel like once you kind of figure out how to enjoy the process and you figure out what the things that you would naturally make are, like, that's your art style. And it's going to grow over time, just like you. It's going to change, it's going to evolve. I feel like looking back, I have always drawn animals my entire life. I have tried to draw people, but I'm not very good at it. And it stresses me out trying to draw people in a certain style that I'm not good at. But I feel like once I kind of just gave in to just drawing animals the way I like drawing them, making art was just that much more fun for me. But that's my thing on art style. I don't think it's any more complicated than that. It's just how you naturally make something, and do you enjoy making that? So leave me a comment down below and let me know where you are in your art journey. Do you know what your art style is? Do you like your art style? Do you wish it was something else like me? Like, I wish I was good at drawing people, but I'm not. Let me know. I'm really curious to hear if people agree with my idea of what an art style is as well. Maybe you have a different idea. But I hope it was fun to kind of like look at my old work and just talk a little bit about art style and just, I don't know, art things in general. I know this is a different kind of video, but I feel like all artists who are on this journey of creating things always has this moment of like, what is my art style? But I think the important thing is that you'll eventually find it. Just keep on creating. I'll see you next week.